morning to you. And shocking story coming out of latest that's just in the KZN Midlands. What happened here and what police have told us so far is that on the 1st of December, the 15-year-old girl who was in grade 9 at the time was told by her mother that she would be sent to Johannesburg to spend time with friends. She was told then, or rather the girl was told then, that her friend or the mother's friend would buy her cell phones, clothes, as well as a gold tooth. Some strange details coming there from police. Now, when the girl went to stay with these relatives in Johannesburg, she was then taken by unknown men to another location where she was raped by an unknown suspect over that period of that night. She was then brought back to her relative's house in Gauteng. And at that time, she told police that she saw the perpetrator hand over cash to her relative, who then went inside a house to count this money. Now, according to police, two girls who knew the girl in Johannesburg actually came forward to rescue this child and bring her back to Ladysmith. And upon her arrival in Ladysmith, a few days later, she actually told police what happened to her. Yesterday, this woman was arrested in Ladysmith near her home and is appearing at the Ladysmith Magistrates Court today. It's unclear whether she's going to go ahead to apply for bail. Of course, this is going to slowly become quite an interesting case to follow, as here you have this case of human trafficking opened against this mother. We've not seen any reports of the perpetrator arrested in Gauteng. We understand that police are still investigating this matter. But what we have here is yet another case of rape in KwaZulu-Natal of a minor. And in this case, the person who was supposed to protect this child, 15 years old in grade 9, her mother is alleged to have been accepted that 100 Rand bribe to silence her daughter. She apparently gave that money to her daughter to ensure that her daughter would not speak out about this. And this comes as just last year in November, KwaZulu-Natal was dubbed the rape capital of the country for the second time in 2020. So obviously a high number of statistics there and questions around when police will make further arrests, as well as what changes then will be made in terms of this child's life. It's unclear where she is at this stage. Over the course of the day, we'll be speaking to the Social Development Department to get an update on whether she is currently in a place of safety and how the child is doing at this point, and as well as police, as well as the NPA, to understand what will happen in court today and when police can make further arrests in this very gruesome case.
Yeah, it certainly is troubling. I mean, do we have any idea why the mother would appear to be trying to protect the alleged perpetrator here? Because, I mean, the accepting of the bribe in return for silence suggests somebody's interests are being safeguarded. Do we know why?
Well, at this point, it's not yet clear. She was arrested yesterday, but what we can see so far is that this case of human trafficking indicates that this mother allowed for this crime to go ahead by accepting that 100 Rand bribe. And further investigations need to be made on what has been her actions in the past, of whether this child was only able to speak now and whether this has been an ongoing issue. But looking further than this, I mean, this is one case that we have been made aware of. And we know that over the past year, especially, or rather in 2020, the conversation about child trafficking was in the air, especially on social media, with various reports surfacing about children going missing, as well as children falling victim to these incidents, wherein the people that are supposed to protect them are actually the ones that are making these children vulnerable to these horrific crimes. So of course, this, like I'm saying, would be then a very high profile incident to understand how exactly police will look at this issue, as well as the courts when determining what will happen to the fate of the woman who was supposed to protect this little girl.
Yeah, I presume we're also still not sure how the relatives that this child was meant to be staying with will be handled, because at the very least, if this child was sent to Johannesburg to stay with these relatives, they too should have been safeguarding her at the time when this crime was allegedly committed.
Indeed, it's not only the mother who is deemed to be the one who's carried out these crimes at this point, because she was sent to Gauteng, but she was told she would be with relatives, again, thinking these would be people who would protect her. She was told by her mother, this is according to police, that the people she would stay with would be buying her cell phones, as well as clothing and other amenities that this child would need. So she went there on the understanding that she would be in the hands of people that she could trust, but they obviously played a part in this too, knowing that these perpetrators would come to this house and do such horrible acts to this young girl. Going forward, though, as well, we do need to understand how police is going to carry out this investigation. So far, the only arrest in this case is that of the 53-year-old woman, and it's also unclear where the child's other relatives are at this point, if they're still in Johannesburg, or whether or not other as well children have been impacted by what's happening. Police need to, of course, inform us on whether the investigations will go into a bigger scale rather than just this specific family.
All right, let's leave it there. Thanks very much for that update. Karuna Jacques Mahan, our reporter, live to us there from KZN. Thanks very much indeed.